Good morning. You're listening to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Santo Torcivia with Market Insights. Santo, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Kemp. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to talk to you. This day, the day after elections, let's talk about that toward the end of the interview. What I want to talk to you about is, where we stand with the economy, what the forecast is. This recovery we're seeing, most people know it's strong residential replacement and the builder market is strong. The specified commercial market is soft, and Main Street commercial's a little soft. Tell us what your read is.
Well, we're seeing the recovery is in full force with the third quarter growth of 30+% quarter to quarter. That's really good news. And I think the reason it is good news is that our fundamentals are pretty solid. And that achievement occurred, that 31% growth, with 7 major states still in some form of lockdown. And those states, I calculate, represent about 37% of the U.S. economy. You've got states like California, New York, and Illinois, and Michigan, which are in some form of lockdown. Yeah. If they were back to normal and humming, we would have a really strong growth. I think they will come back, and we're going to see 2020 end stronger than anticipated. And that's kind of been the story with most of the quarters so far. They ended up being not down as much or up more than was originally expected. In 2021, we should start to see some real daylight.
Mm-hmm. So you're thinking that both this residential replacement and this builder segment are going to continue to do real well into 21?
Yeah, I do, especially with these rates being so low. We've got record low rates right now. And this whole new way of working, even though I think businesses will reopen and some people will start to go back, we're going to have more people working from home, and like it's already stimulated residential improvements. That's going to continue into the future. Now, the one thing I have seen is that the spending on residential improvements, even though it's up, is not up as a percentage of total spending. People have found other things now to also spend money on. A lot of it is in the recreational area.
You're talking about boats and RVs and hot
kayaks
tubs.
and all kinds of recreational things. The place you don't want to be right now is anything that's in the amusement and theaters, airlines. They're really struggling.
Well, trade shows as well. I mean, if you go back to flooring, we're hearing there's some popularity around a meeting that's going to take place in Dallas, but most people are going to stay hunkered down, at least in the first quarter, as we travel around and kind of get a feel from the pulse of what people want to do in Q1, especially with this recent uptick in the number of cases. We're hearing that Q1 is people going to kind of stay close, right?
And if they do travel, it's going to be by car. A lot of people are still nervous about flying. I saw a report from Airbus, and they don't expect aircraft deliveries to recover until 2023. That may be a little drastic on their part in terms of that forecast. People have gotten very nervous about being in confined quarters for a period of time.
Now, let's talk about where things are made and how that's shifting.
Sure. We're seeing these logistical supply chains shift dramatically. In the wood category, the tariffs have cut hardwood imports from China down, and surprisingly, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Malaysia have picked up the slack.
Yeah.
That's surprising how quickly that occurred.
Yeah.
In ceramic tile, China's been cut off altogether.
Right.
Turkey and Brazil and India have picked up that low-end market. Again, it's surprising how quickly that's occurred. And the one place where China's kind of holding its own against the tariffs is in the LVT category. But even so, South Korea, Vietnam, and Taiwan are stepping up to the plate and really taking share from China.
Well, that's because rigid LVT, they developed that product over there, and it's complicated to make. We're hearing, there's 5 or 6 companies that are moving to the United States, and they're having trouble getting people over here to do the technology transfer. It's going to happen eventually. The question is going to be whether it's going to be priced competitively, whether that American flag on the made-in section of the box is going to be, worth a premium, because it may be that you can't make it over here for what they can make it in China.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Those plants may take some time to get running proper. So we're going to probably see increasing imports from Asia outside of China and from China.
Yeah. We should mention there's a lawsuit. It's out there right now that could eliminate the 25% tariff. That'll certainly change the equation, won't it?
Absolutely. The one thing that's been surprising is hardwood lumber pricing has stayed down, has been decreasing since the beginning of 2019, according to the Labor Department Producer Price Index. But softwood's going through the roof, especially like pressure-treated wood, things like that. Contractors have a really hard time getting it. Last numbers I saw, softwood Producer Price Index was up in the second quarter, 45%. So that could slow some construction down.
We've played about 30 seconds. Too soon to call the presidential election, but one thing for sure, I think you can call the Senate. The Senate's going to remain GOP heavy. You know, our founding fathers put in a system that's going to at least moderate any shift that might have happened, right?
Amen. I'm very strong on the system that we've built here, and I would hate to see it changed in any significant way. The election seems to be going to be hinging on Georgia, you guys down there, and Pennsylvania, me up here, and Michigan, and maybe Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I just hope it stays honest, that's all.
Yeah, me too. All right, Santo, thanks so much for your read on where you think things might head. So most people are calling for this surge to go well into 21, at least on the residential side, right?
Oh, yeah. Commercial, not so much. Yeah. And that's because some of these businesses have, you know, the airline industry, the apparel industry, all these retail stores and other kinds of businesses have been hit. Hotels have been hit so hard. It's going to take a while.
All right, Santo, thanks for the update. Again, been talking to Santo Torcivia, principal with Market Insights, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.